Hello, and welcome to Forgotten Tales. I'm your host, Raz. On this podcast, I'll be retelling stories from our beloved video games. The stories range from older games to newly released ones. Some stories might just be on certain characters in the games, as well as a bit of the game itself. Listen to this podcast on Amazon Music, iHeart, and Spotify. Enjoy! The Third Age, also known as the God Wars. The Third Age lasted 4,000 years and officially began when Zamorak, now as a god, began a massive war. Upon returning, Zamorak attempts to gain control of areas held by the Zerosian Empire. He is mostly successful, however, he has difficulty maintaining control of them, and they usually end up in Saradomin's hands. Yet Zamorak does have some noteworthy success against Saradomin. With the help of the vampire Lord Draken, he claims the powerful Saradominist city of Hollowvale. In response to this, Saradomin sets up a military campaign to retrieve Hollowvale. The campaign fares well, but near completion, the Saradomin generals are turned into undead wights by Siliske. This ended the campaign, and Zamorak held on to Hollowvale. Both the gnomes and dwarves go into hiding upon hearing of the war to come. The dwarves establish the city of Keldgrim deep beneath the mountains. The elves retreat into their city of Prifddinas, and Vampire Lord Draken conquers the Saradomin kingdom of Hollowvale and its surrounding areas, founding the land of Mortania. Despite the conflict, Zamorak and Saradomin eventually find common ground. Both sides realize it's in their best interest to eliminate the Zerosian faction, which was feasibly powerful enough to reclaim land. They ransack Zerosian cities in their best attempts to eliminate any indication of who Zaros is. They were also able to overpower Zaros' Emperor Azaranda and Zaros' top military general Nex. Due to their immense power, both are imprisoned as they cannot be killed by either Saradomin or Zamorak. Other followers who are not so powerful are killed or, if lucky, sent into hiding. Azaranda, the powerful high-ranking Zerosian Marguerite, is imprisoned within the ancient pyramid. Unfortunately, the war did not end there. Zamorak and Saradomin keep fighting, and Zamorak is pushed back to 4-3. Saradomin decides he needed to deal a killing blow to Zamorak. He teams up with the gods Armadil and Bandos in order to create a powerful weapon called the God Sword. Armadil's followers, the Avensi, are tasked with forging the weapon. Zamorak ultimately discovers the plan and sends an army to take the God Sword from the Avensi smiths. Although the Alliance is able to hold off Zamorak, the Alliance soon turns on itself. The battle becomes a free-for-all for the God Sword. This great battle breaks out in what we now call the God Wars dungeon. A loyal servant of Guthix freezes the combatants of the God Wars dungeon in time. The God Sword ironically shatters during the battle, and the Alliance reforms to defeat Zamorak and begins to make progress on its position in 4-3. For purposes of having an interesting plot, Zamorak then rediscovers the Stone of Jazz. When he is cornered, he uses the stone's power to explode the area around them. This causes 4-3 to become a wasteland. The blast, which damages the planet's Amina, awoke the slumbering Guthix. Realizing that his hope for a world free of gods was failing, and he was witnessing the end of another world. Guthix unites his followers and puts an end to the war. Guthix, being far more powerful than any other god on Gielinor, steamrolls the other factions. At this point, the gods are forced or asked to leave. Guthix then places a god barrier on Gielinor called the Edicts of Guthix. Sayrene, the crystalline goddess of the elves and the divine aspect of light energy, being the counterpart of Zeros, the divine aspect of darkness, shatters herself into many crystal pieces to avoid being forced to leave after establishment of the edicts. Guthix travels the world in order to witness the destruction caused by the God Wars, and his mourning manifests as the tears of Guthix. Guthix then returns to his slumber deep beneath Gielinor, not to be heard from again. The God Wars led to millions of deaths, the destruction of dozens of major settlements and cities, the near-complete eradication of all references to Zeros, and the extinction of several races. The God Wars and concurring conflicts are by far the most notable events that happened during the Third Age. Here are a few things that went on during this war. A Saradominus crusade is led into Mortania to liberate it from Lord Draken. The 6 Barrows brothers were empowered by the devious Marjorie Siliske. The empowered brothers were unstoppable until they reached the walls of Darkmire. However, Siliske removes their powers as part of his plans, and Lord Draken slaughters the Crusaders outside the wall of Darkmire. Uzur was an advanced civilization whose inhabitants were expert magical craftsmen. It was also the only city to have created and used golems. According to carvings on the temple, the citizens of Uzur worshipped Saradomin, Zamorak, and Armadale, though they were ultimately aligned with Saradomin. Thammaron, Zamorak's chief lieutenant, opened a portal from his own domain underneath the temple, bypassing the city's defenses. Though the forces of Uzur drove him back, either a second attack by Thammaron or other Zamorakian forces destroyed the city. But before the city was destroyed, an elite force of golems raided Thammaron's lair, mortally wounding him. A single heavily damaged golem was the sole survivor of this assault. The survivors of the battle then fled to the city of Olek before it was destroyed by Zamorakians under the command of Balfrug Kraeth. The burgeoning kingdom of Great Khurand is established by those fleeing the wars of the main continent. Skotso betrays Zamorak and steals a powerful artifact. His sister Zalcano is punished and tasked to hunt him down, but is imprisoned by the elves. The capital city of the Zerosian Empire, Sinistine, falls in the combined efforts of Zamorakianist and Saradominist forces. Saradominists seized control over the remains of Siniste from the Zamorakians, founding the city of Saranithium. And with that in mind, this is all the time I have for this episode. Thank you all for listening, and please stay tuned to the next episode. I know some of the episodes are a tad bit short, and some are longer than the others, but there's not a lot going on during these ages. But I promise I'm gonna make bigger episodes soon. Bye guys!